Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to unpack a concept that can absolutely transform how you handle overthinking and those pesky intrusive thoughts. Seriously, if you have ever felt trapped in this endless loop inside your own head, agonizing over past conversations or stressing about future worries, you are in the exact right place. We are going to learn exactly how to unstick your mind.
There's this old saying, we swim through our thoughts like a fish swims through water. And I really want you to think about that for a second. We have millions of thoughts a day, right? But most of the time, we don't even notice them. We just automatically believe them. It's exactly like a fish that doesn't notice the water it breathes. We rarely notice that the way we think is entirely coloring our view of the world. We're just completely immersed in it.
See, our brains are literal word machines. All day long, they just say stuff. They constantly churn out words, warnings, and observations nonstop. But the trap happens when we buy into every single thought that passes through our mind. In psychology, this is known as cognitive fusion. It's this major problem of being practically glued to your thoughts. When we're fused, we get stuck in these endless loops of obsessively struggling against our own minds. And let me tell you, that steals all our attention and completely drains our energy.
Section 1. The Trap of Cognitive Fusion. Okay, let's dive into this. To really grasp this trap, let's look at a case study of a young man named Miguel. He suffered from pretty severe social anxiety, and his story perfectly illustrates how quickly this fusion spiral takes over. So step 1, Miguel makes a totally harmless joke at a party with a good group of friends, but instantly, step 2 hits. He starts worrying. Wait, did I say the wrong thing? Did I hurt her feelings? Then step 3 happens. His friends split up. Some head to the pool, others go to the game room. Step 4. Miguel absolutely panics. He is terrified of choosing the wrong group. And here is where the fusion really traps him. Step 5. He starts violently fighting his own thoughts. He's standing there thinking, I can't believe I'm getting anxious again. Stop feeling anxious. Why do you always do this, you loser? All of his energy is going into fighting his own negative thoughts. And ultimately, this internal battle is just so exhausting that, step 6, he just leaves the party early.
So the really crucial question here is, why was Miguel so trapped? Well, through therapy, Miguel discovered he was actually operating under this subconscious, unwritten rule. And the rule was, I can never make anyone feel bad. Miguel was so heavily fused to this thought that he didn't even know it was running his life. Because he bought this thought as absolute truth, it literally forced him to stay in a bad relationship for an entire year just because he didn't want to make his girlfriend feel bad. He even had this crazy habit of lying to waiters, telling them terrible food was great, just to avoid causing any drama.
Section 2. Looking at your thoughts.
Now, if cognitive fusion is the problem, the antidote is cognitive defusion. It's all about learning to notice your thoughts without immediately buying them. And this is honestly one of the most powerful visualizations you will ever learn. Imagine your thoughts are a pair of glasses. They are the lens through which you see the world. If you believe the world is terrible, well, that's exactly what you're going to see. Fusion is when you are looking through your thoughts like glasses. You don't even realize you're wearing them. Defusion, on the other hand, is the act of taking those glasses off and actually looking at them in your hands. You're stepping back. You start to notice yourself as the thinker, the place where the thoughts happen, rather than just letting random subconscious thoughts run the whole show.
Section 3. 4 tools for diffusion. Diffusion is definitely one of those things that's much better experienced than explained. So let's build out your mental toolkit right now. You can use these practical exercises literally anytime you feel stuck. Tool number 1 is all about changing your language. The very next time a negative thought pops into your head, I want you to add this specific phrase right in front of it. I notice I'm having the thought that. So instead of thinking, I am a complete loser, you change it to, I notice I'm having the thought that I am a complete loser. Try doing that in your head for a second. Seriously, do you feel what happens there? It creates an immediate sense of distance. It reminds you that you are a person experiencing a thought. You are not the thought itself.
Okay, tool number 2 is giving the thought a name. You could simply refer to it as your negative mind, or maybe say, oh, that's just an intrusive thought. But honestly, it can be highly effective to give those bully thoughts a silly persona. Something like Billy Bob. When that voice pops up saying you'll never be successful, you can adopt this playful conversational tone and just say, oh, there's Billy Bob popping in again. You can even say, hey, thank you, mind, for that thought, but it's really not super helpful right now. By naming it, you politely acknowledge the thought without buying into the whole shebang.
Moving on to tool number 3, and this one is fantastic for completely neutralizing the power of really heavy words. Let's take a word that triggers Miguel, like awkward. I encourage you to playfully repeat it out loud over and over. Awkward, 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 awkward. Keep going. Say it fast, or maybe sing it in a totally silly accent. Eventually, if you say a word enough times, it literally stops feeling like this terrifying reality and just turns into a meaningless jumble of funny sounds. It completely proves to you that your brain is just a word machine generating random syllables.
Our fourth tool is putting your thoughts onto physical objects. Did you know martial arts legend Bruce Lee used to visualize writing his negative thoughts on a piece of paper, crumpling it up, and literally lighting it on fire? That's one way to do it. In a slightly different approach, a therapy client who really struggled with the thought, "I'm unlovable," decided to write that exact phrase on a literal 10-pound rock. When she bought into that thought, she carried that heavy rock around the room. But when she consciously chose not to buy the thought, she physically set the heavy rock down. It is such a brilliant, tangible way to realize that you actually have a choice in what mental weight you carry.
Section 4. Choosing helpful thoughts. Here's a reality check. Average, completely healthy people have bizarre, intrusive thoughts all the time. Your brain is a word machine. It is absolutely going to produce junk. But defusion gives you the superpower to choose what you do with it. Now, this fits perfectly into a wider framework called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. We can contrast this a bit with traditional cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. In CBT, the primary focus is often on challenging distorted thinking, looking for exceptions and arguing with the thought to prove it wrong. And hey, that's a great tool. But for some people, arguing with their brain just keeps them locked in a struggle. ACT, and defusion specifically, offer a different approach, simply separating yourself from the thought, letting it be there, and choosing your actions regardless. It gives you a brand new, highly flexible tool for your emotional tool belt.
So, what does this all mean? The absolute most important takeaway from this explainer is this. Once you take the glasses off, once you step back and really look at your thought, the essential question to ask yourself is simply, is this thought helpful to me? Does buying this thought actually help me live the life I value? If the thought is helpful, then great. Buy it, believe it, put those glasses back on and act on it. But if it's not helpful, you don't have to fight it. Just thank your mind for the suggestion, let the thought pass through you like water, and choose an action that actually makes your life better. So I'll leave you with this. What thoughts will you choose to buy today?